computer. All right. We are live now. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Okay. I assumed it would warn you, but I always forget whether like the guests have to approve it. I think it just warns you. Yeah,
Oh,
I've had the same
okay,
thing.
okay.
I'm pretty sure, I just have the one daughter, but I'm pretty sure she's an iPhone. My girlfriend's kids are iPhones. Actually, she's an iPhone too, but it's so funny because she barely knows how to use it better than I do. The swipes, the commands, the icons are different from a Droid to an iPhone, and
It's true.
we have the worst time trying to. The hardest thing is somehow on her iPhone, she got all of her email, work email, personal emails. She got them all connected on the phone. So when she goes in to hit her email app on the iPhone, she can't, she has trouble figuring out, well, I want to look at my work email, not this. And she's, yeah.
Yes,
So I don't know. But you said you have gone to the dark side.
I did. I'm Apple.
Nothing wrong with it.
That's,
Apparently it works awesome.
I guess people like it. I don't know. They have a few products, I'm told. I don't know.
Just a couple.
I love Apple TV. I love Apple TV and I get it free with T-Mobile. And here's what I love about Apple TV. There are so many feel-good shows on Apple TV. Ted Lasso, are you kidding me?
Oh, I've heard so much about it, but I guess that's why I never saw it because it was an Apple TV product,
It's
so I couldn't.
Apple, and
Okay.
it is like it will give you cavities. It is so sweet. Like, oh my gosh, Jason Sudeikis kills. He is the nicest, sweetest man on the planet. And there's also a series called Shrinking with Harrison Ford
Oh,
and Jason Segel, where
oh
they are
yeah.
therapists.
Okay.
It's excellent. And my most recent favorite watch that I was told by a previous coworker, we were juvenile probation officers together. Um, Palm Royale with Kristen Wiig. Carol Burnett is back
Oh,
and wickedly funny. Like, I watched the season finale last night and I was a hot mess. Like, all the tears, all the feels. It is so brilliantly written and acted. And it's not a musical at all, but they did sing last night. And Carol Burnett, get out of here. And Vicki Lawrence pops up in the last couple episodes as a special character.
she
And
had to.
right, like what? So them together is just, I don't know, it's just magic. And whoever is younger than 50, maybe watching your podcast, will not know those references, but they should look them up because they are legend.
Oh
Like
my gosh.
legend. Like they paved the way for female comedians.
Well,
So
I always reference my one listener, Gwen. She's barely over 50, but I guarantee she'll know who you're talking about. But yeah, that's the running joke is because I don't really promote this other than I just share it every time I do an episode, but I'm not trying to make money off of it. So like yeah,
right.
I don't have I think my most viewed podcast was the one I did with the author Paul Young, and I think I might be up to 400 or 500 views, mainly because of his name,
Yeah.
obviously. But yeah, but it is funny. Um, and I think most of the people that do watch, I mean, I do have a few subscribers, friends and family, and yeah, some are over 50, but there's a lot like the people I work with at Costco, a lot of people that are under 50 that probably won't know who Carol Burnett and Vicki Lawrence were. But Carol
No,
Burnett's
sadly.
she's got to be in Carol at least has to be in her 80s, but she still is whip smart, like
Yes.
quick-witted. She still got it.
Yes, and I'm gonna spoiler alert for anyone who's watching, earmuffs right now, or maybe also don't look at the screen, but she did this at the end. Oh my gosh, do you remember that, Kim? She
No.
used to ear tug. She used to ear tug at the end of her shows, and I think it was like sending love to her grandmother. I
Oh,
want to say to her grandmother. Don't, yeah, and it's not 100%, but she used to ear tug at the end and it was just the sweetest thing and she did
yeah.
that last night and I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh,
And I
that's
just then just all the waterworks, like all the childhood feel goods, my mom watching that show and just, Carol Burnett was a variety show, right?
right.
Sometimes she did scripted shows, whatever, with a whole cast of characters. And yeah, there's nothing like a
No, she was
So
amazing, and I do remember watching it when it was on when I was young, because I'm pretty sure we're the same age. Are your high school class of '90, right?
yeah, I just turned 54.
Okay, yeah,
Ah.
we're both class of '90. We were both freshmen at Western at the same year. That's what I thought. But yeah, I
Okay,
remember watching Carol Burnett, and even as a child, I missed half the humor, but I loved it. But what's even funner now as an adult, I will go on YouTube, and there's so many, like, 10, 15 minute, you can find the Carol Burnett show on YouTube all over.
it's true.
It's because they spend half the time cracking each other up, and they're trying to keep a straight face. And Tim
That's my
Conway,
favorite. Oh my gosh, my
yes,
favorite character in Harvey Korman, like when they or
yes,
they're drinking and they say something crazy and they spit the
yes,
like I like it on SNL. There are a lot of like non-scripted live shows where they do that to each other,
yes.
and it's the best part about live TV to
Oh God,
me
yes.
is when they get each other. Like it's just yeah, or when a comedian is like even stand up, right, and they make themselves chuckle. I
Yeah.
don't I just
Or
like
occasionally somebody in the audience actually has a good, I wouldn't call it a heckle, but sometimes in the audience they'll make a funny joke to a question the comedian asks them when he's doing crowd work. I love it when that
yes.
happens. And when it catches the comedian off guard, he's like, "Gosh, damn, that was good."
You got me. Yes. No, I love crowd work. And I am that person in movies. I love going to live comedy, live music, and I am a participator. Like if I'm into it, like
Yes.
there was a time I saw George Lopez, I mean, probably 20 years ago in Las Vegas at the height of his career.
Yeah.
And, he really clowns on his family and he'll even do the voices of his Tia, his aunt,
Yep.
and how she moves and how she dances. And I was uncontrollably laughing, like I like coughing, could not get it together. And then the script runs through my head again. Just when I get my shit together, it runs through my head again and I start all over again. And I feel for anyone next to me or that I'm with. I'm like, sorry, not sorry. Like I hope you're enjoying this. Like I hope you're enjoying them. I hope you're enjoying this. If you're not, well, maybe you're not my people.
Well,
But
that's why you're supposed to go to these things.
yes,
Whether it's live, whether it's a live,
yes,
whether it's a concert or whether it's a play or whether it's stand-up comedy, but live stuff, yeah, you should be experiencing it. That's the point.
yes, yes.
Living in the moment, as
Yes,
they say, and then you get that 2 hour
exactly.
break. You get that 2 hour break from your real life and your whatever's
Yes.
stressing you. God,
Yes. And even like, you've been an instructor for years. I was an instructor for a hot second. And, like, is this thing on? Right. Like, oh gosh. Yeah. I mean, they're collecting a paycheck. We collected a paycheck doing such things. But it's like, gosh, I mean, it'll be a lot more fun if you guys engage, and if you ask the questions or tell a story or whatever. Yeah, I'm a talking head for 8 hours or a 4 hour class or, whatever was going on. But, it was a lot more fun. So I've always been that person in training, going to live entertainment. Like I engage, even if it's boring, even if they're struggling, because like been there, done that. Right. And so
oh
it's like,
God,
I'm
yeah,
going to help this person out. I'm not going to let them sink. And I also, have a little ADD as an adult, and I did not as a kid, but
really,
definitely as an
adult
adult.
onset.
Yeah. And so if I engage, then I don't check out because
Yeah.
I'm a daydreamer. And so I'll look out a window and I'll just daydream about whatever I'm doing for this weekend or something. And I just kind of check out. So if I don't like engage,
Yeah.
I'm checked out. And I also probably don't track what they're talking about. And maybe it's something I need to know if it's training or I don't know.
Okay, so you're telling me that I should keep watching for that. If you start drifting on the podcast, I got to bring you
Yeah.
back in, or we
Yes.
can just call it because you're bored with me. But
That's something else that has happened to me in older age. So, as we get older, we have less fucks to give. And it's such a beautiful thing. And I tell young people, you're gonna
yes,
love it. Like I've never lied about my age. I'm not that 29-year-old woman that has a 20-year-old son. Like I'm not that person, right? I'm 54. I earned all these stripes. But here's what I got good at over the past few years. I try not to be rude to people by saying I'm bored and dip, but I've learned what I do is an Irish goodbye.
yes.
And so, and I like, and I do it with now the fiance, but the boyfriend,
Congratulations, Dan.
thank you. Life is so good. And, but, like, because he's really social too. And so we'll get in a conversation with a stranger and I get bored or I don't know what they're talking about, or I was headed to do something and that's interrupted it and I'm excited about the thing. And so I just slowly, and it's like,
Yes.
and Jerry knows, the fiance knows, and he gets it. And I've explained it to him because he's not there yet. He's a little younger, and not and doesn't have ADD, right? He doesn't get as bored as easily. He can talk about the weather for 5 hours and he's perfectly happy. And I'm just not. I can't. I'm bored, and I don't say it, but yeah. Or when we're out, you know, this is one he likes to clown me about. I really like to go out dancing, and it's not his jam, and that's okay. But he comes out and he'll watch whatever on the big screen or shoot pool or whatever. He can entertain himself perfectly fine. But someone will be, or they're drinking too much, and we don't really drink, so it's I don't know. When they're sloppy, I'm like, I'm not really interested in whatever you're selling to me right now.
Yes.
And so I'll say, hey, like the band needs me, like I got to go, right? And so and I've just always said that and dipped out, not waited for a response, not said, oh, are we done here? I just, the band needs me and I go. So a couple times Jerry has told me that people have asked him, oh, is she in the band? He's like, no, not at all.
It's a code
She
phrase.
can't sing, she can't play an instrument. Not at all. She just likes to move her body to
Yes.
music. And so she's gone. And I'm like, you can play with them. I don't really care. I could probably like smack a tambourine on my hip or something. I don't know, right? I've got rhythm.
Yes. Yes. The
Or like
band
I
needs
like
your
those slide
support.
whistles. I love a slide whistle,
Oh,
like
yes.
Blondie.
Yep.
Blondie and a slide whistle. That's
That's
a slide
amazing.
whistle. That's my jam. Yeah.
Or a maraca, just the shake in your hand.
Oh,
You can do
that's
that. That's
true.
easy
That's
to do.
true.
Just
Yeah,
keep the rhythm. Yeah.
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Oh my God, Stacey, you're amazing. It is seriously, I am gonna, we just dove into it. I am gonna give you a proper introduction. Um,
Okay.
but this is awesome. It's like no time has passed. That
I
is
know it's
so
really
weird.
lovely. And I really do thank Facebook for that. I worked, I was in California for about 11 years. And like I already referenced, I was a juvenile PO there. And a friend, just when Facebook was starting, we were kind of like in the MySpace era, right? And so I was
Yeah.
like tracking kids in their MySpace pages. And I don't think I had a MySpace page. But anywho, she was like, dude, you got to get Facebook. Like, you're from out of state, all your people are from out of different states, all the things. Like, you don't, I was still like taking film to a store and having it developed and getting the pictures. This
Yes.
was like, what was this, like 2006 or 8 or something? And I
Yes.
was developing the pictures and I would put them in an envelope and address it to the husband's family or my family and say, here are pictures of our children. And she's like, no, 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 no. Listen, boomer, you don't have to do all that anymore. You can actually like post it on Facebook. Everyone else is on Facebook but you. And everyone can like see your life. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then I tried it and I was like, oh, because I thought it was for young people because young people were switching from MySpace to Facebook, right?
Right.
And so she's like, no, 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 no. And then fortunately, Instagram came along. All the young people shifted to Instagram and left Facebook for us old folks. And so I'm grateful for that. And so I feel like time hasn't passed in talking to you or seeing you because I've seen the post of
Yeah.
you and your boo and out in nature and with your gorgeous, gorgeous daughter. Oh my Lord,
Oh,
that
thank
girl
you.
is a
Thank you.
beauty
Yes.
inside and out. I know, but I just see the outside on the post.
Well,
And she,
luckily she got most of her looks from her mom. Thank God.
well, she
I
does
don't
look
make it.
like
Well,
you.
you, do you remember Cindy? Because we were all at Western at the same time.
I
I don't know
don't.
if you ever, yeah, and because I only knew you because I feel like our freshman year, didn't you work the front desk at Heritage Hall? Is that how I met you? You were at the desk in the lobby when you walk into Heritage, or
So
were
my
you
freshman year, I lived in Heritage, but I didn't work at the
and
desk.
that's
And
the only
then
reason we both were in Heritage freshman year.
okay, so I don't remember you freshman year. Sophomore year, I lived in Butler, and then my junior year, I was an RA in Heritage.
That's why.
Yeah, and we had to rotate the front desk, and
That's how
so
we knew
that's
each
why.
other because I met Cindy was also in Butler, Cindy Unger.
Hmm.
She was in Butler Hall also. That is where terrible. I just when I want to make my daughter cringe, I tell her this. Like every time we go visit the campus, I can show you the Butler room you were conceived in. And then we left. We took a year off to have her and kind of get settled. And then we came back. And when we came back, I signed up for the RA program. That's why you know me. I think we met in RA training, I'm guessing.
Oh, but what hall were you in RA in?
I don't think I ever did it.
Oh,
I
you just went
went
through the
through, no, I
training?
went through they hired me twice and I think I went through it twice. Yeah. They hired me the first time after our freshman year or during our freshman year, but then in the spring I found out I was going to be a father, so we
Right.
left. Came back again, probably the first year you went through it, and I signed up to do it again for the mainly for the free housing
Hell yeah.
to save money.
Hell yeah.
But then
And the food plan?
yeah, yes. But then I think what happened was me and Cindy, I think we divorced. We got a divorce and I realized, okay, I can't do this. And so yeah, I actually got hired and went through the training twice and then had to back out. And so I never
Oh,
actually did it. But
okay.
so it was the RA training how we first met.
Okay, that makes sense because
And
it
then
was like a retreat in the woods somewhere.
and then we were both freshmen in Heritage Hall, so I'm sure I remember seeing you in Heritage Hall. So
Okay, yeah, maybe our paths crossed. Yeah, freshman year just seemed like a blur,
yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
I was in ROTC at the time. I was in Army ROTC. That was the only branch that was on campus. It was desert storm time.
Hmm.
So it was a very weird time.
Yeah.
And I did intramural sports, volleyball and softball. And I worked. And I worked at the 76 gas station on the corner
Yes.
across from Burgerville.
Yes, because I worked there with you too. Remember, for I don't know, it wasn't for long, but when I was a reserve in Monmouth, I worked at the 76 for a while. So I think we knew each other from that.
It is so weird that we weren't closer than you were to the husband because I was a reserve in Monmouth too for a year. And that's when I discovered I didn't want to be a cop. I
Then
was like, this isn't for me. I went and I don't remember what year. That must have been my sophomore year when I was a reserve for Monmouth because like my junior senior year well go in hold on. My junior year I was an RA, so I couldn't work at 76. Like that was your full-time job.
yeah,
And so I couldn't work off campus. And then my senior year, I was a RA that summer, and then the senior year, I moved off campus with a friend, and I went back to 76 Station, I think. So I don't. Maybe it was that year. Maybe it was my senior year that I was a reserve with Monmouth. Did we have to be 21?
yes, yeah. Otherwise,
Oh,
and I don't think Monmouth had an Explorer program, so you had to be 21.
okay. Then it was my senior year. Yeah, when I was off campus, that makes more sense.
Oh, wait a minute then.
Yeah,
That's right. God, it's all coming back to me now.
I
You
know.
were a reserve at Monmouth in '94 when I first started as a reserve in Monmouth, but I think we were only working there together for maybe a few months when for I don't know why, but you stopped doing it. You just
I
decided.
did.
That's right.
Yeah.
When I first, or either we were reserves together for a few months, or maybe you might have been kind of on your way out as they hired me.
Maybe because I feel like I did it for a year, like December to December, because
Yeah.
I left school in December 94 to get married.
Right.
Yeah, and so I
Okay.
finished at community college out in Pendleton. I finished
Okay.
my last like 20 credits there and
Oh,
I came back to Western and walked, but I
because
didn't
he was working at
Hermiston.
where?
Hermiston.
Hermiston. That's right. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no,
Got
when
it.
he told me, I was like, Where's that?
Hmm.
Because I grew up in Portland. Like
Yeah.
I didn't even know where Monmouth was, right? I in high school I had to do all this stuff for myself. I was raised by a broke single mom. She never went to college, so she didn't know how to like take an SAT and apply
Yeah.
for scholarships and grants and apply for college. And I just had to do that all. I went to a huge high school
Yeah.
and
Grant. You went to
yeah, I went
Grant
to
High
Grant.
School.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I
because
never. Had
we
help.
played the first round of the playoffs. I played football. The first round of the playoffs, our senior year, Grant came to Canby and we kind of laid the smackdown on you. It was kind of ugly, but it was it was 55 to 10. I'm sorry.
Ouch. Ouch. Ah. That's okay. It wasn't safe to go to the games. I really never went to the football
Well, it was
games.
at Canby High School. Well, we it
Oh,
was a road
I didn't
game
even
for
know where that
years.
was. I didn't
Yeah.
have a car. Like I didn't even get my license till I was in college because again, I had a broke single mom. So
Yeah.
a
Oh,
friend taught me in
geez.
college and
Okay.
I couldn't even afford a car and insurance anyway. So it was like, whatever. I had a bicycle and I biked everywhere. I was in the best shape of my fucking life. As soon as I got that car, I got fat and lazy. So dumb. Jesus. So yeah.
Well, if
Yeah.
it helps,
Everybody.
we beat you guys bad, but then the next week in the second round of the playoffs, Jesuit beat us. So, yeah.
Oh,
So we were
those
out. So,
snobs.
but yeah, okay. Let me say it again.
Private
Okay,
school.
Stacey
I
Van. We
yes.
uh, we both went to Western Oregon. September of 1990 was our freshman year there, but we actually didn't get to meet until a few years later. And then, of course, both got into law enforcement, and I ended up, training with your ex-husband at the police academy for a long time, and God, yeah, us and Shane Pallison. Oh fuck.
Yes, Shane. Oh my gosh. And Terry.
And Terry De Silva, yes.
Yeah, some really, really neat people.
Yeah.
Gary.
Oh, there was tons. There was so many
Yeah, I
good
mean,
people.
so many neat people. It was such a fun time. And I tell you something, like, I cannot believe, I mean, you probably did like an internship in college too for credits and to get your degree and all the things.
Oh,
But
I
just
never
look,
finished. I got about 3 years done. I don't actually have a degree.
damn it.
I'm about a year short of actually having a bachelor's. So
Okay,
I
go.
just got into the once I got hired full time at Monmouth, I just did that. I was like, well,
Yeah, it's true.
I got full time and I don't need to go back to school. So
That was the goal for all of us, right? But I cannot believe how much we all volunteered and like went to trainings on our own time and our own dime. And we'd like jump into a car, six of us in a four-passenger car to go to a training just to save money because we were all broke. And, now, these young people up and coming, they're like, oh, if you're not going to pay me, I'm not going to go. Or we don't do
which
internships anymore. It's not a
I
paid
mean,
internship. I'm like, paid internship? What is that?
right. Which, so yeah, and I'm of two minds of that. Part of me is like, good for them for knowing their value,
Yeah,
but I'm also like, hey, if it's something I'm like this, the podcast, I'm not
yeah,
making any money off this. I do it because I care about it. It's a passion project.
right.
So I mean, yeah, you could make the argument both ways. And even, I went through after not being a cop anymore. I did a several years as a DJ. Like I had a DJ business for 8 years
Yes.
full time. Literally, that was how I was making money. And I consistently undersold myself, especially when I would book weddings or corporate gigs. I should have been charging 1,000 or 1,500, and I would just feel bad. I undervalued myself, and I would charge them like 600 to 800, and like But by the end of the day, the number of hours that I put in preparing and actually doing the wedding, I was
Yeah.
probably making less than minimum wage.
Yeah, absolutely. And all your time, and then you've got to pay your own taxes and like,
Yep. Provide your own
yeah,
insurance. Yeah.
it's true. Yeah. And as a young dad, like, well, I guess you just did this a few years ago. Was
No,
she
no,
already an
no. Oh
adult?
God, no. I was a DJ for 15 years total, but full time where it was my career was only from 2011, and then I think I hung it up in March of 2018 and I officially retired because I had already gone on at Costco.
I see.
Yeah, I got on at Costco in October of 2017,
Okay.
and then I was because at some point you'll appreciate this since you like to dance and go out to clubs.
Yeah.
But sounds like you're doing it with live bands. I was the DJ guy.
Oh, I
And I'm
love a
like,
DJ too.
at some point when I'm in my 40s, um, I turned 40. I worked the club that night. I'm 40 plus years old, scratching for 21-year-olds, and I'm like, this is just getting creepy. I need to get a real job. And there's no fucking benefits. I don't have a retirement. I mean, what the hell? What am I doing? This is really
Yeah.
getting creepy.
Yeah.
I'm scratching and playing music for girls that are younger than my daughter. This is just
Right.
wrong. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, it's good
Um,
that you had that awareness.
yeah, well, and I had to get hit over the head with a two by four about some things to be aware of, but yeah, anyway. But yeah, okay, so these are things, and I always say this too, if I can't remember, did I send you links to previous episodes for you
To
to,
the author one.
yeah, okay. Oh,
Mhm.
Jonathan Evison, probably. Yeah, the
Yes.
most recent. Yeah, yeah. So I always say it. Talk about whatever you want. I'm not trying to get to dig into personal stuff, but yeah, I guess I don't. I just know you from when I knew you, but I didn't know. Born and raised in Portland. I mean, you were raised in Portland, but were you born there?
No, no, I was born in Tennessee. My parents were in the army together.
Okay.
And so my dad was drafted, I guess maybe in 1970. It
Yeah.
was, the end of Vietnam, and he is one of two children. And so his brother was in Vietnam. So my dad could not go to Vietnam,
Okay.
fortunately. And so he was drafted, and he was made a recruiter, and he was sent to Portland. And that's where he met my mom when my mom went in after high school to enlist.
Okay.
And I don't know a lot past her enlistment. I don't know that she made it through boot camp. It's not something she ever wishes to talk about.
Yeah.
But, they became a thing. And I don't know in what order. Like, I don't know if like they conceived me in Portland and then moved to Chattanooga, Tennessee. But I was born in Chattanooga, where my dad is from, and they made it about 5 years. They are completely opposite humans. I don't even know what brought them together. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't,
Or what they were
whatever.
thinking. Like, did you
Yeah,
really think this was going to work?
right. Yeah, just opposite people, opposite families, completely different cultures. Obviously, the South is its own beast compared to the P and Dub. And um, yeah, and so and my dad visited a few years ago when I was still living in Portland, and he shared a traumatic experience with me from that period of time, and it's nothing he ever told me before. My mom had never told me before, but we had driven by. So when I was in high school at Grant, well, my mom and I moved a lot. Like if she could save $50 a month rent down the street, we moved down the street or
Yeah.
to another city, and I'd change school. So I was that kid, like a new school almost every other year. She kept me at Grant the 4 years, but I didn't always live with her. I
Okay.
lived with friends.
Hmm.
At the last year, we lived in Beaver Creek.
Yep.
Anyway, my mom is a whole different story. But she rented an apartment when I was in high school, maybe I think it was maybe my freshman, sophomore year. And she had told me, "Oh, your dad lived in an apartment with other soldiers down the street." And she would point it out to me. So when he and his wife visited a few years ago, I drove them by there and I was like, "Hey, I heard you used to live here." And he said, "Yeah, I did. I lived there with three other soldiers. We would drive into work together. Um, and one day, uh, two of them went on a train, and I don't know where they were going. I don't know if he even told me, but they were on a train. And was it a train? Or they were in a car and maybe it was hit by a train.
Oh,
Anyway, yeah, and they died. And my dad was like, 19 or 20 years old to experience this kind of trauma as a young man. But, like then in 1970 or something, they didn't talk about trauma,
but this this
right?
this accident happened, I'm sorry, when he was in Chattanooga or Portland?
Oh, Portland.
Okay, we're living in that apartment with them. And it
Right,
was it was it
exactly.
was two of his roommates that this happened to.
Yeah, that
Oh,
died. I think the
Jesus.
car was hit by a train and they died. And then,
Wow.
my dad took my mom and me and her belly, I don't really know, and moved to Chattanooga and just, I don't know, maybe didn't give it a lot of other thought and just started a life as a married young dad.
Oh, so maybe you're thinking that really horrible incident, maybe your dad was like, I need to get away from here because it's bad memories
Well,
and
he probably always wanted to go back to Chattanooga. I mean, he is like he's a Southern man,
yeah.
100%. And so I'm sure, and he was much more connected to his family than my mom was to hers,
Okay.
probably. So I don't know if that was their intention or if he wanted to get out of there. I don't know how that changed him. Like if he maybe used to be a little softer and got hardened or vice
Hmm.
versa. Like trauma,
Right.
trauma's a trip,
Yeah, and it manifests itself in there's
right?
in ways that you can never predict.
It's true. And it might
Yeah.
hit you 40 years down the road, or
Yeah.
it might be immediate. Like we don't know. And I don't know, if he had survivor's guilt.
Right.
Um, just really interesting. It's really interesting to hear these things so many years later about your parents and that they just didn't have the wellness, I guess, that we have, in seeking out therapy or, talking to a
Yeah.
friend about it or having a weakness, and talking about a traumatic situation. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just hugged on him and listened to him and yeah, it just definitely made me see him different. But anyway, they divorced when I was 5 and my mom, her resources were in Oregon and um the South, again, it's a trip and if you're not from there, I don't know. Do you ever really, really fit in? I mean, even when I visited, because I didn't have a Southern accent, I was always called a Yankee. I never knew what that meant. I was like, okay, like New York Yankee. Like, I don't know what that means. But it was a knock.
I'm
I
gonna
get it.
here, let me I'm gonna this is so interesting. I have so many questions about Tennessee and Chattanooga because
Yeah.
I'll tell you my family. But let me pause for 1 second. I'm gonna go refill. But yeah, this might blow your mind in a 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon way. Again, way too many connections. So I'll be right back, but I'm just gonna pause the recording so that the my audience of one, I'm talking to you, Gwen,
Hi,
doesn't get
Gwen.
bored. I'll be right back. All right. Oh, and by the way, this was a funny thing. Since you were mainly born and raised in the Pacific Northwest, right?
Yeah.
Um, if I hope this doesn't offend you, are you a super Seahawks fan? Because I'm a Patriots fan. So,
No, I'm actually a 49ers fan.
oh, okay, then we're probably good. So,
Yeah. We're good. And we're gonna destroy the Seahawks on Saturday. So
yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
that's on
I kind
record.
of root for the Seahawks when they're not playing the Patriots or the Redskins, but okay. My problem was in high
The
school.
who? The who?
Wow. Um, well played. No, my because I was a quarterback in high
Commanders?
school, and my competitor who he won, he was always a starter. I was his backup. He was a huge 49ers Joe Montana fan. So if it wasn't for that bitter rivalry, and he's a great guy, his name's Brad, but if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't mind the 49ers, but I have to hate them because of that. So anyway,
That's fair. And I
and
just started
I'm
liking them when I
mature enough
lived in the
now.
Bay.
I don't hate any teams. I've grown
Oh,
past that. I've grown past that whole thing. I'm a lifetime Oregon State Beaver fan, but I was rooting for the Ducks last weekend. You know what I mean?
oh, you
So
should. I
yeah,
mean,
of
yeah,
course.
homegrown. Yeah, of
But
course.
anyway, going back to the Chattanooga connection. So you said your dad was from that specific town?
Oh, born and raised.
That is so weird. So my father's side of the family is all from the Cleveland, Tennessee, which is 30 minutes north of Chattanooga. Cleveland,
Yeah.
Tennessee, and Murphy, North Carolina. My dad was born in Murphy, North Carolina. I have tons of cousins, uncles, just all hillbilly
Mm,
rednecks. I mean, very
yeah.
like, they made moonshine. I got to have a jar of moonshine from there sitting right over there. But that is so random. How old is your dad?
So he was born in 48. So he's
Okay.
77.
Okay, my dad was 41. So born in Murphy, he ended up doing some time in Old Hickory, but then also Cleveland, Tennessee before he came to the West Coast. But like most of his family stayed back there. So I still have two brothers. The one, Michael, the oldest, he's always been in Cleveland, born and raised, never left. My other brother, Wesley, who's kind of the middle brother, was raised with me out here on the West Coast. And I actually didn't know about my half brother Michael until I was in my 20s.
Oh,
But it's great. We are so close now. But both of my brothers now live in Cleveland, Tennessee.
mm,
Yeah, that is just, I would not be surprised if my brother Michael, who grew up there, knows your dad's family. That is,
right.
again, too small of a world.
I know. That's crazy, that connection. And a
But
woman I've just become close with, she's a deputy here in Snohomish County. And so she covers our courthouse sometimes. And yeah, she's from Tennessee. And so we go to the gym now and talk about Southern comforts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
So
I
it's
do, and I've gone
neat.
back and visited a lot ever since. Of course, I found out I had a brother, but in the last several years, because my dad passed away a little over Jesus, it was New Year's Eve, but I'm trying to remember if it was New Year's Eve of 2023. So it's
Mhm.
been 2 years.
Yeah.
But in the build up to that, for the last couple years of his life, we moved him back to Tennessee so that because my one brother who I grew up with, and then also my other brother Michael, they were kind of taking care of him. We ended up essentially or eventually getting him into assisted living for the last year of his life in Cleveland, Tennessee. But I made so many trips back for the last year and a half or so to check on him, to help him get settled. And then, of course, when he passed. So, yeah, I got a lot of time to explore Chattanooga, Cleveland, some of the areas around that.
Hmm.
You said you've, as an adult, had trips back there, but um, do you have any memories as a child at Chattanooga, or were you too young?
No.
Okay.
No, my mom will tell me things or she'll ask me, "Oh, you remember this?" And I'm like, "No." I don't remember a lot of childhood at all. Like it's
Okay.
really weird. I don't know what that is. Even like in my 20s, I didn't remember being 3 or remember being 7 or 9 or things that happened. I remember schools I went to and some friends, but because it was so chaotic, probably
Yeah.
is the best word to describe it. Because my mom worked nights, she attended bar,
Okay.
or she cleaned hotel rooms. And so I was home alone at night. I was a latchkey kid. I don't know if Gwen, you'll know what that means,
Oh,
but
yes,
that
she
is
will. Yes.
okay. Oh, you said Gwen's 50.
Yeah, she just I believe turned 50 like a year ago. Yeah.
Okay. Happy
Yeah.
birthday, Gwen. Welcome to the 50s club. It's
It only
quite
gets better.
fine. It's quite fine. I love it actually. But a latchkey kid, I mean, you get out of school or get done with your sport and you go home and make your snack and do your homework and watch TV and go to bed and do it all over again, right? And you see your parent on the weekends, maybe.
Well, let me make sure I trace the timeline here.
Yeah.
Your dad had that traumatic event with his roommates, moved the family back to Chattanooga, but your parents were only together for 5 years. So how old were you when that ended? And I'm assuming then you moved back with your mom to the Portland area.
I've been told 5 when they split. And
Okay.
then I remember, or maybe I've been told that maybe we were there for, a few months or something before she moved us back to Portland. And I'm sure her
Okay.
parents helped her, right? She finished high school, but she didn't have any trades or higher education. So,
Yeah.
um, So yeah, I'm sure they helped her move back and then the couch surfing began and the,
Yeah.
random apartments in different cities, usually around Portland. Beaver Creek was the one off my senior year because my grandparents had this house out in the country and let us live in it, I think.
It's a nice
Um,
area out there. Yeah. Because again,
yeah,
I'm
no,
from
it
Canby. So I know Beaver Creek
Oh,
very
you
well.
do. You do. Yeah, because my grandparents, my mother's parents had a Christmas tree farm in Estacade on Springwater Road.
Oh yeah.
And so my uncle has that house now, and I think a lot of the land's been sold off. I think they had maybe 80 some odd acres, and I think he's just down to a few acres. But anyhow, yeah. So
So
that's
you
still
went all
around.
through, elementary, middle school, high school in the Portland area, but you said you
Hmm.
jumped around a lot of schools until Grant. You did all 4 years at Grant.
I did.
And
Yeah.
it's funny because you also mentioned this is how you'll know that I'm actually listening to you that you got yourself into Western. I have a funny story about that because I was actually a really good student in middle school, but once puberty hit and then football sports hit, I stopped losing focus on the academic side. And I remember having this thing happen after I think it was we did we do quarters? I think we did quarters at Canby High School. But basically, after halfway through my senior year, I had been slacking all through high school, and I looked at my GPA and I was like, oh shit, I might not even be high enough to be able to apply to a public college. I
Right.
so I was like a C something, maybe I think Western you had to have at least a 2.5 GPA to even apply, and I might have been slightly like a 2.3. So I literally aced my last half of my senior year. I got like a 3.8
Oh,
and
wow.
pushed my cumulative up to a 2.7 or 8 or something just so I could actually apply. And again, my parents divorced when I was really young. Um, and I was living with my dad and his basically second wife, all through high school and stuff. But he was a truck driver for his entire life, so I guess you could say I was a latchkey. But I was, he didn't, he never went to college. He didn't. I think he didn't even. I think he dropped out of school after eighth grade. Very
Oh,
poor redneck
wow.
hillbilly. But
Yeah,
anyway, I had the same experience where I had to figure out, like, gosh, nobody in my family went to college. I was like, but I want to do this.
same,
But so I started looking around, and Western was the only one I applied to.
same,
I never saw the campus until the day I moved in,
same.
and I drove myself down there.
Yeah, no, my mom had to take me because, again, she never taught me to drive and I didn't have a car.
Oh, right. My dad was
So
nice enough to, he just basically gave me this 1973 Ford F100. They didn't call them 150s back then. It was a 100.
I
And he just
remember.
gave it to me. And he was like, yeah, you can use this. And I drove myself to school, moved into Heritage Hall with somebody I had never met because
Same.
I let them pick me a
Me
roommate
too.
who we are still friends today. He's my guitar instructor, Jason Moore. He's a great, from Lake Ridge High School, of course. Um, but but yeah, so that I kind of did the same thing. I just did it all on my own. I filled out the FAFSAs. Is that what it was? The student
Yeah.
aid forms.
Yeah, the fast one.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So you had to kind of go through the same thing.
I
How
did.
did you try other colleges, or was Western the only one?
No, just Western. I just figured it was far enough, but close enough to Portland, right?
Seriously, because
Yeah.
I
And
was
so,
living in Canby, the
like
same thing. I
location.
was like, it's far enough away, but it's also close enough that if I need help.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, same. And I don't think we didn't have to take SATs. I did, but they were miserable. I
Oh,
think I did
I
it
did take the
twice. I don't know
SAT.
why.
I took the SAT my senior year in high school. I don't even remember what the score was, but I was mainly worried about getting my cumulative up to just be able to apply. They accepted me. I got the Pell Grant.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep,
wow.
same. And then I knew it was a teacher law enforcement college, and I had a traumatic incident in high school that pushed me into law enforcement. So I was working at a Baskin and Robbins when I was 15, maybe just about to be 16, and it was near Grant High School. It was like walking distance. Like
Oh,
we lived on 47th
I was gonna
and
say we should I should know this, but give me the cross streets of where Grant's at.
oh, I don't know. I don't remember.
Is it between I-5 and 205?
It's off I-84.
Right. Okay. Between
And it's
I-5
off
and
the
205.
42nd Street
Got
exit,
it. Yes,
I-84.
I know exactly
Yeah.
where you're talking about. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I know where it's at now.
Okay. Yeah. And so
The Baskin and Robbins was near the school, or
yeah, it was in between my apartment and the school. And so
okay.
I would just like, get out of school and go work if I wasn't playing a sport. And then I'd go home and, reverse whatever. So one night I was working with, it was always girls. I don't think we ever had a guy working with us. And it was actually in a little strip mall. There were like maybe three or four other businesses. And it was a Sunday night and it was really hot. And like we just slung ice cream all day. And we had, a cash register on the counter where you like ding, 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 and it pops open, right? And
Yeah.
cash and coins and all the things. And then we had a drop box underneath the counter. And we didn't have to account for that money. We just shoved it in there, like just wads of money, just shoving it in because they never wanted more than, I don't know, 60 or 100 bucks in the till, right?
Yeah, but you didn't have access to that. You just had a
No,
drop slot. Right.
just the drop slot. Yep.
Right.
And so there were three of us working, and we only had landlines back then because we're
Hmm.
old as fuck.
Yes.
And and one of my coworkers was on the landline with a long ass cord, right? A
Hmm.
long ass curly cord,
Yep.
talking to another coworker. So, and we all went to Grant together. So, the end of the night, like last person comes in, this kind of like straggly looking dude. He comes in a door, and we have two doors. One is push pull, and one is pull only. So he comes through one of the doors. He orders something near the register. Oh, before he came in, we kind of like rock, paper, scissors who had to take him, and I lost. So I go to help him. He orders something near the cash register, so I scoop it and put it on the counter, whatever, ring it up. And he says, "Give me the money." And I was like, "What?" And I like, we're dipshits, right? We're 15.
Yeah.
We should never been in charge of anything at 15. So I said, "Excuse me?" And he's like, "Give me the money." And I said, "Huh?" And I was just like frozen. And he did this and he took his shirt aside and he had a gun in his
Yeah.
waistband. And I said, "Oh, the money." So I go to the cash register and there's like maybe 40 or $50, right? And I hand it to him and he says, "Is that all?" And I said, "Do you want the change?" And I don't think he responded right. So he goes to leave and he goes to the pull only door and he's trying to push. And I said,
Oh,
"Pull." And he pulls and he goes out, right? So I was like, "Oh my fuck, you guys, we were just robbed." And la, 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 right? 15-year-old spaz. And they're like, "What, what?" And I go to the phone and okay, Gwen's gonna know this too. You remember if you called somebody, they couldn't hang up on you. You had to hang up.
right. Oh my
Right?
God.
If
Yes.
they tried to hang up, you're still there. You're like, haha, sucker.
Yes.
So Beth was on the phone. I'm like, "Beth, hang up the phone, bitch. We were just robbed. I gotta call the cops." So she's like, "What? Oh my God, tell me what's going on." And I'm like, "Bitch, hang up." So finally she hangs up. I call the police. The police respond. The next call is my mom, of course. We call my manager. So I want to say like my mom got there first, right? Because again, we lived a few blocks away. So she checks on her baby girl. Um, the cops come, they take our information, description, all the things. Our store owner comes and is cold as ice and is like, "Okay, clean this, do this, do this." Instead of just saying, "Oh my gosh, girls, go home. I got it."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She was shit. Anyway, so long story long, they find the guy. Like weeks later or something, they find this guy. And he admits to these string of robberies at these different kind of Baskin and Robin places where it's young girls working like vulnerable victims.
Yeah.
And they call me in for grand jury. So by this time, I'm 16, still a total ding dong. I have no idea what's going on. It's downtown, like, Multnomah County, right? And I guess my mom took me. I don't remember how I got there and how I left. I don't remember all of that. But I just remember being in a room, right, with citizens on a
Hmm.
jury, right,
Yeah.
serving grand jury, as we know now. And I told my story. And I guess his defense was the gun was fake. And I said, I did not feel like that gun was fake. It looked real to me. It felt real to me. I felt like my life, their lives were in danger. That's what I know, real or
Right.
not. Like I just, told my story. And at every stage of this, like the DA, the police treated me with such dignity and respect as a ding dong kid. And I was just like, and I had no direction in life. I didn't have any role models. I didn't know college, military. I knew it would be one of those things. I was in Civil Air Patrol as a kid. So
Okay.
I actually thought I was going to enlist in the Air Force.
Okay.
I thought I could be a pilot. It turns out I'm not smart enough, like book smart enough. So yeah, that SAT was like 1,000.
Okay.
So I did not have the aptitude to be a pilot. All good. I actually have many friends that were in Civil Air Patrol, and I was in actually Army ROTC with at Western who became pilots and actually had lifelong military careers. So yeah, salute to them. But my wheels turned as this process happened. They indicted him, they convicted him. He got several years in prison. They thanked me, like, told me how valuable I was as a witness and just like, what? Like,
Wow.
this is so interesting. And I thought, oh, I want to do this. So when it came to looking at colleges and I saw Western, it's small, law enforcement, the academy's there, all the things, I was like, okay, maybe this is where I'm supposed to be. They've got ROTC. It wasn't Air Force ROTC, but Army school. Um, and so that was the direction I went. And then I was a reserve and I was like, like it's okay. I mean, it really isn't that difficult of a job.
No.
But what I didn't like about it, I took a parole and probation class, right? So we had to take all these classes, corrections and dispatch, and learn, all aspects of our field. And I took a parole and probation class with Was it Mr. Gibbons or Gibson, or he was,
God, that name sounds so familiar. Yes.
yeah,
I know. So
and
wait, this is at Western.
at Western,
So
yeah,
so you went to Western, and your choice of study was law enforcement.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
got it.
that's my degree,
So you're
yeah,
taking all these classes directed toward that.
yeah.
Okay.
So I took this class and I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting because like you have this group of people, 80, 100 people on probation parole, and you meet them when they start, like when they're sentenced or when they're released from DOC, and you see them to the end of their sentence, right? So 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, you get them the resources they need, like you help them
Well,
like
yeah,
get
and
through
just to clarify for the I don't know,
for
the lay
Gwen.
people out there,
Yeah.
yeah, so you're gonna see them when they get in trouble. Um, they spend their time, whether it's county jail or they have to go to prison for more than a year, yada yada. But then also, even when they get released, there's going to be a time of probation where they have to check in with an officer. So
Right.
you're going to see them for a long time, not just while they're incarcerated.
Right. Yeah. And I really never saw people from the beginning, right? So like their first contact with the system is a cop,
Oh,
right? The
I'm
cop.
sorry. You
Yeah.
basically got to know them
At
once
the
they were
at the back end.
convicted. Once
Right.
they're convicted and they know they're going to get punished, whether it's
Yes.
jail time or probation, they have to deal with you.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I took that class and it was just fascinating. And I thought, okay, well, I'll do my internship with a parole and probation office. So I did it with Polk County. And I don't know if you remember Faith Fagel.
God, that name sounds so familiar, but I
So
can't I
Faith
can't
took
put a
karate
face
with
to it.
Howard. Like she took karate with Howard Webb too.
Yeah,
And she
yeah.
was a little tiny blonde and she was always a director of community justice.
Okay.
Some years juvenile, some years adult. So when I met her, she was the Polk County adult parole and probation director.
Okay.
And so I met her through Howard, through Okinawa and Kempo, right? And
Yep.
so um I was like, huh, can I do my internship with you? And she said, yeah, that'd be fabulous. We get a lot of students from Western, right? And I didn't really like know her that well. And so 3 months became 6 months because one of her POs went out on leave. And so she's like, hey, you want to cover his caseload? Again, I'm like a ding dong 20 year old at this point, like with these like
Wait. Cover
hardcore,
cover his caseload?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I
like
mean,
40
thank
hours a
God it
week.
was you because you're awesome, but like that's a big deal at 19 or 20.
Well, it took a lot of years to get this awesome. I don't know how awesome I was at 19 or 20. I
Air
was
fist bump. Come on, do it.
yes. I was goofy. I mean, again, that prefrontal cortex, right? It wasn't
Is
fully
not fully
grown.
developed. Yes.
Yeah, and we didn't know that back then. And so, I kind of fudged my way through a lot, but I've always been that person that's like I don't fake it to make it, right? Like so I did ask for help. I'm like, "Hey, like I got to write a report on this or I've got to be in court with this guy and testify and all the things." But we know, Gwen, like the best way to learn is to do.
Yeah.
And so, like, what a valuable gift Faye and her team gave me. And those people became my everything. I mean, we were friends outside of that office. I went to weddings. I went to Faye's wedding a few years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, like they were my everything. And so,
But this was happening like your sophomore, junior year at Western?
yeah, my junior year.
Okay. So
Yeah.
93, I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yep. Or 93 into 94, I think.
And that was before you did the reserve thing at Monmouth,
It was
I think.
after.
Oh, it was
Oh,
after.
no,
Okay.
it must have been before.
Yeah.
No, it must have been before. You're
Yeah.
right. Because I was
Okay.
younger. Yeah. But I was just like, boy, I think this is, or it might have been simultaneous now that I think about it. There might have been some overlap there. But I was like, this is what I'm cut out to do. I want to work because as a cop, it's like one and done. And as a cop, you're like, gosh, I wonder whatever happened to that guy, or I wonder whatever happened to that
Right.
family. Like, gosh, did they work it out? Are they okay? And like, we didn't have socials, right, to look people up to see if they're still alive or if the
Yeah.
family's still intact or if they like rebuilt their house after it burnt down or like, all the tragedy that you see as a cop. And I don't know that I was even cut out for that. The death notifications.
Yeah.
I mean, the things that you guys do are like, uh, and so to see this kind of attack on law enforcement over the last several years is just, it's daggers to my heart. I mean, obviously we're human, so there are some that don't make great choices and they have to be held accountable, and I'm okay
Yeah.
with that. But I also know the Ken Services of the world that were honest and empathetic, and dads and moms and sons and daughters that give a damn. And so it hurts my heart to see where we've gone, in our views of law enforcement because of one bad apple, you know?
Yeah, or a few.
Or
Yeah,
a, yeah, or a
and
few.
we don't have to go down a deep dive on
No,
this,
no, for sure.
but
For sure.
it is the advent of social media, and it's also a lot of this is fake bullshit on social media.
True.
99% of the country, it's not social media is not real life.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are still the majority of the population that are good people doing the right thing, but it's always the vocal minority, and a
Hmm.
lot of that is fake. A lot of that is, bot farms from other countries that are just literally, you know all this. It's
Yeah,
all fucking bullshit.
yeah, it's
That's
true.
why
Yeah.
I try to encourage people to use social media to stay in contact with friends and family.
Yes.
But oh
That's
my
all I use
God,
it
it's
for.
not healthy. Limit your screen time because
Yes.
99% of the stuff, whether it's Reels or fucking TikTok, it's fucking bullshit and it's
Yes.
programmed. It's designed to make you keep swiping left.
It's
So,
true. It's true. No,
yeah.
I completely agree. I had a friend tell me, I didn't really think about this, but her parents, she told me this a couple years ago. Uh, her parents grew up in Southern California, like during like LA Watts riots and just
Oh, the Rodney King riots.
no before that,
Oh,
like
even
years before that.
yes, yeah, and like
Yeah.
the late 60s or 70s, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And so her parents were there then, and her parents told her, and I just thought this was fascinating. We used to protest on the weekends. Like we would work Monday through Friday, and then we'd protest on the weekends, right? I mean, this was like the
yeah.
hippie time, right? Because they still had jobs
You
and they
still
still
had to go
took
to
care of their
work.
families. And
Yes.
they didn't like just take from the government and then protest the same government that they're taking from. So
Yeah. No,
so
yeah.
now, I mean, this advent of like full-time protesters, or a lot of folks that came to the West Coast in 2021 post George Floyd, like
Yeah.
RIP, like obviously. But and then they came out to the West Coast and they're like, oh, this is kind of a sweet gig. Like I can just do this full time. I can get government assistance and benefits in these blue states like I can't in this red state that I'm from. And they just kind of set up shop and didn't go back to, wherever they came from. And it's just a fascinating time all the way around.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even say obviously some of it's government assistance, but I would also say there are people in the shadows behind the scenes that are funding this for their own agenda.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
of course,
This is being
I agree with
like
that.
the professional protesters are being paid
Yes, that's
um,
true.
by a group that is trying to change the narrative to what they
Yes.
want
No,
or
that's
to
absolutely
have a
true.
desired effect. So
Hmm.
yeah, oh gosh,
No,
yeah,
that's
we don't
very
have
true
to do
too.
this. Because yeah, I think we're like-minded
Rabbit
on
holes.
this, but it's
I
also
agree.
controversial.
It
So
is. And I recognize that I've gotten more conservative as I've aged. That's just a
yeah,
natural progression for most of us. I mean, even if you're like super blue, you're going to morph into some purple as you age, right? May not
yes,
full blown red. It's okay, like whatever. And so I recognize that, and I have really really thoughtful discussions with my kids about this because we're all in different um
stages of life.
yeah, well, they're similar, right? Because they're
Oh,
23 and 26, but
right,
like, but they're both in red states now, right? My daughter's in Florida, going to college and working for the state,
and that's Gabby. Yeah,
and that's Gabby, and like, she's so amazing. This is what this girl does, Ken. She works full time for the state of Florida.
okay,
She works part time at a gym. She plays volleyball and softball, like in between all of this.
yeah,
She
because she's not
babysits.
busy enough. She needs
Right.
to fill her
She
time up.
babysits, she dog sits, like all the things. Like and she'll call me tired and I'm like, Like, really, sis? Like, really? Like, you do more than like 10 people do in a day. Like, what are
Yeah.
you talking about? But that's just how she's built. Because she would have frustrations sometimes and still does over friends that don't want to go do stuff. I'm like, where do you have time to do stuff? But she does. She makes the time. She makes the time for her people and or to travel. And she's just anyway, she's like butter. And she's like, I don't understand why they don't want to work full time or go to school. And oh, and she's going to school full time. I forgot that part. Jeez Louise. Anyway, so she does all the things, right? She's just superhuman. And I'm like, but Gabs, you're different. If you sit still for too long, you get bored.
Yeah.
So don't be frustrated maybe with your friend. Don't be frustrated with yourself. Like love who
Oh,
you are and
right.
how you're cut, but just honor that they're cut a little different and they can't keep up with you.
Just
And it might either overwhelm
have
you.
some grace with other people.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. And my boy Gunner is in Missouri, and he initially went there with Uncle Sam. When he graduated from high school, he enlisted. It was always his dream, and he saw that through and was in for almost 6 years between active and reserves, and just decided to stay there. He likes it there. It's cheaper to live. He does like the politics there. He
And
likes
I'm
living
sorry, what state again?
Missouri.
Okay, and so
Mhm.
Gunner's the oldest one, right? Gunner's the
Yeah,
first
he's
one. He's
26. Yeah.
26, Gabby is
Mhm.
23. Okay. So
Yeah.
Gunner's he landed in Missouri because of the military, but now he's out doing his career.
Yeah, he just stayed. And so he manages a business full time. He's making six figures. He like at 26 in
Right.
Missouri.
Dude,
Like what?
sidebar here.
Yeah, he
My
makes more
daughter, it
money.
was talk about the different dynamics of the tech revolution. But my daughter
Oh,
went to University of Arizona in Tucson, graduated, ended up getting into the whole recruitment field, and did this. She jumped from companies you would know like Square, Stitch Fix. Victorious is an SEO optimization business. But she did this long, and now she's starting her own businesses, doing something different. But for like 8 or 10 years, I had a daughter in her mid to late 20s, and even when she was in her early 30s, like the starting wage of some of these jobs was $110,000 a year. And I'm like, what are these tech companies doing that they can afford to pay everybody that much? Because I love Costco. This is the
yeah,
best company I've ever worked for. They are
good,
really good to their people, and I'm a
good.
supervisor in the tire shop.
Yeah,
I don't make six figures,
right, right, right.
but yeah,
No,
that's the
it's
same thing. It's
really.
like
I
thank
mean,
God for them.
tech is great, but it's scary, right? Because it ebbs and flows, and
And
so those.
she did go through
Yeah,
several job changes, clearly. So
yeah,
it's you don't have the stability.
right.
Um, you can make good money and obviously learn a lot of skills, but and because we're older, different things become valuable to you. Like I love
Yes,
the fact that I have this amazing full medical, dental, vision insurance. I have a 401k.
yes.
I talk about in the podcast. I have been in therapy for 9 fucking years, and because of my insurance, it's $15 a session.
Ah, I love that.
And I
Yeah.
keep the joke is, and God forbid if Aetna ever sees my podcast, I keep expecting them to send me a message like, "Are you fixed yet? Do we have to keep paying for you?" But they can't say that.
Answer is yes. Yes, Etna. Yes. Keep the checks coming.
Oh my God.
Yes. Yes.
No,
Take
but
care of my
it is actually
therapist.
a gift because it's made me a completely different person than I was 9 years ago. I have the one therapist, Lindsay, I've been seeing for 9 plus years, and I'm working with another one now. But yeah, it's awesome. Anyway, let's go back to Gabby and Gunner. Um, they does it seem like Gunner has kind of found his career path? Although that seems to change with that generation. I mean, he might decide to do
Well,
something else in his 30s.
I mean, he'll definitely work his way up in this company. If whatever he wants, they will give him.
Oh,
Like
so
he has
he's
made
happy with the
himself.
company he's at.
Oh yeah, he has
Okay.
made himself like irreplaceable, honestly. And hmm, he became a sergeant, right? He
Hmm.
promoted in the army, and so he
Yeah.
had this supervisory experience that I don't have. like I can't promote because I've never been a supervisor. I've supervised a lot of criminals over the years, but never other employees, right? So he can apply for jobs I could never apply for, in 35 years in my
Okay.
career.
So
It's like,
maybe we should talk a little bit more. This is supposed to be your podcast.
oh,
Um,
it's okay. I love talking about my
what
kids.
are you? You're in the Seattle area, but
Mhm.
are you still doing the parole and probation?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah,
So give me the details, as
yeah.
much as you can
So,
share.
oh yeah, for sure. So for the last 20 years, I was in juvenile probation between the Bay Area and Portland. So 11 years Bay Area, 9 years Portland, and then I just was ready for a change.
What
And
was the? How did you end up in the Bay Area? And I
the
probably
Westman,
okay.
yeah,
That's what I'm not sure about because when all my stuff happened in Bend, I kind of lost contact with everybody. So I don't know
yeah.
why
So
you
this
guys ended up in the
was
Bay Area. Was it a job for the husband?
it was yeah. So
Okay.
2004. He was working as a lieutenant for Scappoose
Hmm.
Police.
I knew
Uh,
that.
wasn't super happy. Well, I mean, wasn't miserable or anything, but but I don't think it was like his dream position. But the area was nice, and we owned a
Yeah.
home and all the things, and the kids were little and not in school yet, and all the things. And he really got asked to come work as a security director for a man in the Bay Area that he had done some training for.
Okay.
And so he's like, "What do you think?" And I was like, "Eek," because at the time I was at Washington County Sheriff's Office as a deputy in the jail, and that
I
was my favorite job ever. Like
really?
those were my brothers and sisters. I loved that job. They're all retired now because they stayed put, and
Okay.
I'm not retired because I didn't stay put. Um, but yeah, trauma bonding. I
Yeah.
didn't know what that was when I was in my 20s and 30s. I understand what that is now,
Yeah.
but we were trauma bonded.
Yeah.
And there's no other bond like a trauma bond, whether it be
Yeah.
with a sibling or a coworker, a spouse, whatever. So anyhow, so he's like, "What do you think?" And I was like, "Well, if we're gonna make a big move like this, I prefer to do it when the kids are little, like before they
Yes.
start school and
Yes.
get, connected and whatnot." He's like, "Yeah, for sure." So at the time, Gunnar was 4 and Gabby wasn't quite 2. So I guess she was 1. And so we moved. I moved without a job. I ended up kind of working for his boss too. Initially, I was selling uniforms to law enforcement. And so I actually got to travel some. I
Oh.
got to go to like this LAPD convention and meet like the people from NYPD Blue and like I don't, it was
Yeah.
crazy. It was a weird time. I did that for a few months and then I got to go into the control center, the Golden Gate Bridge, because I sold them uniforms, those officers. Like,
Wow.
what? So it was pretty neat, honestly. And at the same time, though, I was applying to either go back into a jail for San Mateo County or be a PO for San Mateo County. I just thought whatever job comes up first, I'll take. And they hired me as a PO first. In California, juvenile and adult are combined. So we actually go to the academy together, we work together. You supervise adults, I supervise juveniles. We're like, let's go hit the field. Like you
Oh.
supervise the dad, I supervise the daughter, whatever. And so it was very connected in California.
So
That
so
is one thing they do right.
are you saying the same PO might have clients, whatever you want to call them, that are
Mhm.
adults and children? So
It started when I was leaving, like in 2015, 16, we started hybrid caseloads with
okay.
juveniles and adults because we were certified the same. We went to the
Right.
same academy.
Okay.
But when I first started there, I had to pick juvenile or adult. And I was like, well, I've worked with adults the last 10 years. Probation, I started out in Umatilla County after college. And then, I was in the jail for 6 years. So I was like, let's try juveniles. I don't know. Maybe they're not as stinky and grumpy.
Well,
I'll try my hand at juveniles. And oh my gosh, these were my babies. These were my babies. And I will tell you, there is no better parent training than being a juvenile PO. My kids were little, and these teenagers told me, "I like when my parent does this. I hate when they do that. I wish my guardian
oh,
was here for my games. I wish my caretaker
oh
did
shit.
this." And I just like note to self, note to self, note to
That's
self.
that's parenting 101.
It was
Oh my
amazing. And
God.
201 and 301, like I had my master's degree in parenting by the time, I was through probation with them. Like these teens, I don't know. There was some times though, like when I did specialty caseloads, like I had a girls' drug court caseload, and my heart was on my sleeve all the time. Those girls, teenage girls, run. Shit
Yeah.
hits the fan, they run.
Yeah.
Boys, they attack. They attack themselves, they attack others. Girls run and hurt themselves and cut on themselves. And so I lost a lot of sleep when I was in that program. And I would go out with law enforcement and look for them in the streets. And so my kids probably missed out on time with me too. That I was like not fully a mom. So, good lessons all the way around, honestly, good and bad. And so in 2016, the husband, I say husband because he was my husband. He's not anymore.
You're fine. I
I got
know
that
it's
from my
fine.
friend. Thank you, Sherry. So I say husband, because I would not disrespect him. We had a lot of good times and trainings and made two wonderful humans together.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, of
Um,
course.
yeah, it's all good. So in 2016 or into 15, I guess he was like, "Hey, I have an opportunity to go back to Oregon." Again in security, and I was like, "Let's go, let's go." I love the Bay Area, like it's beautiful, but it's so many people. It's so expensive to live there. We could never own a home.
Yeah.
Um, I took the kids to Oregon every summer as it was. We went on road trips and would see friends and family and see different areas of Northern California and Oregon. So I was like, yeah, let's go home. So we did. And I got hired by Columbia County as a juvenile PO. I
Okay.
applied for everything. And I was like, whatever's meant to be will be. And I got hired by them first. Um,
So you
I
ended up
didn't
back in the Scappoose St. Helens area.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I don't really know how he felt about that at the time. That might have been hard on him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I probably should have checked in more about that because I was also in a background with Washington County again, but to work more in the court, I
Hmm.
would do like matrix releases. So, like, kind of determine who is appropriate for release and who needs to stay in custody for their next hearings. And
Right.
their background just took forever. And I was like, look, Washington County, I left you. I went to California. I was a PO there for the last 11 years. And now I'm back. Like I've been a good girl. Like
Yeah.
what's there to do? Like
I'm actually probably more qualified now.
right. I'll pee
Yeah.
in a cup. I'll take a psych eval again. I've taken like 10 psych evals. So, whatever. So I went to Columbia County and I did that for 9 years. And again, I love the kids, but my heart and head needed a break
Yeah.
for sure. And so, but I thought, if I'm going to make a change, it's going to be big. I'm not going to stay in Portland. I'm just not going to apply for Multnomah County, Clackamas County, and Washington County. Like I've been there, done that. I don't. I'm not meant to end up in Scappoose, Oregon. It's funny because I caught myself saying this to my daughter one day. So she hadn't left. It was pandemic times, right? So
Oh
she
yeah.
was kind of stuck home. She got a basketball scholarship because she's a rock star athlete. She was supposed to go away to college. It was paid for, play basketball. I was so excited. And COVID took that from her. COVID took her graduation, her prom, her college
Oh
experience,
crap.
like just
Was she
2020.
class of 2020? Did
Yeah.
she have to do the fucking drive-through graduation? We had to
No,
do that with
she walked on a stage by
oh,
herself.
thank God.
Yeah,
Thank
she did.
God.
She did walk a stage, but her diploma was sitting on an empty table, like an empty
Yes.
table, and there
Yep.
was a staff member like in the fucking curtains or something, like waving at her.
Yep.
And I bawled my fucking face off because I was disgusted. Like I've never seen a child work so hard in school. Bias aside, that girl busted her ass in school, and she
Yeah.
deserved a full blown graduation. So
Yeah. Yep.
COVID. So anyway, so I was talking to her one day and she wasn't sure, which direction she wanted to go. And I was like, here's what I know. You are too big for Scappoose, Oregon. You are a shining star. You're an amazing athlete. You're so smart and funny and traveled. And she's just extroverted. Like she could just talk to strangers about, saran wrap all day. And she's just an amazing human. And I was like, you're too big. And I heard myself talking and I was like, hmm,
Maybe I should tell myself this.
what you doing, Stace? Like, what you doing?
And
Because, I really wished, I had some good experiences there. Obviously, I wouldn't have stayed for 9 years, but huh, a small agency is challenging. And
Yeah,
if I
I understand.
could go back, I would say stick with the big agencies. I'm back at a big agency now, so I applied for Snohomish County, which is just north of Seattle. So it's King
Right.
County, and then
Yep.
Snohomish and Skagit, Whatcom, and so
So
I'm just a little.
are you like you're north of Everett,
I am well.
like
I work.
Marysville or
My
where's it at?
main, yeah, my main office is in Everett. The courthouse is in
Okay,
Everett, but I'm
got
in a
it.
satellite office in Arlington.
Yep, I know where it's at. There's a
Yeah.
Costco in Arlington. Yes.
Yes, it's Smoky
I always
Point.
see transfer opportunities popping up on on the website. So anyway, keep going.
Yes, Smoky Point Costco. I love it.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, and that was a little tricky because when I applied for this job, it's a probation job and it's actually misdemeanor court. So it's court of limited jurisdiction. So basically I supervise like misdemeanor assaults, thefts, mischiefs, DUIs, a lot of DUIs, drug and
Right.
alcohol,
Right.
uh, reckless endangerment, reckless driving, physical control. So they call it physical control here in Washington State. This will make you laugh. So when I first saw the charge physical control, I was like, is this a DV guy? And they're like, no, physical control is when you're seated in your car under the influence with the key in the ignition.
So, oh,
So it's not a
it's kind of the same
DUI.
thing in Oregon where you technically if you were parked in a parking lot idling your car maybe for the heater but you were drunk, we could still
Yes.
arrest you for DUI. But
That,
they call it physical control. I mean,
yes,
that makes sense. Yeah.
it does.
Because
Yeah. So
what if you accidentally you knocked the gear shift into drive and you hit somebody. So yeah.
right. Or you just wake up and think, I'm good, I got it.
Yeah.
And you don't
Yeah.
got it. You don't
Okay.
got it. Like,
Yeah.
get the fuck out of here. Put your keys in the trunk and sleep it off. Right.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's what I do. And so initially I thought I was gonna be in Everett. I was like, oh, good, a big agency again. Like, yes, I need to be like in the mix because small agency, small town, small minds. And this is not unique to Columbia County, Oregon. This is any
Right.
small
We're
town
not
in the
bashing
USA.
any specific agency or
I
city.
absolutely,
Right.
I won't do that. I won't do
Right.
that. There's lots of people there that I love and care about. So I'm not doing that. But I didn't like knowing who was doing who and the politics and like,
Oh, the
you
gossip.
know, right. And who's running for school board. And I don't know if you kept up on politics of Columbia County and St. Helens High School and some improprieties with teachers
Yes,
and
I read the
principals
Oregonian
and
Live, so I've
yeah.
seen the articles. Yeah.
So it was very problematic. And I didn't supervise youth in that area. I was north. I was like Rainier, Clatskanie. And so it wasn't my area. It was my partner. And she is an amazing human. And she is absolutely cut out to handle all of that and caretake those kids that were impacted by those behaviors of adults. Um, but the school board blew up, all those things were blowing up. And I was just like, when you ask for a sign, I'm like, God, there's a flood, right? And he sends you a boat and he sends you a canoe and he sends you the helicopter. And you're like, it's an old joke, right? You get to the pearly gates and you're like, God, why didn't you help me? And he's like, I sent you a boat, I sent you a jet
Yeah.
ski, I sent you a helicopter. Like,
Yeah.
bitch, like, pay
I was
attention.
sending you smoke signals and you
Yes.
were ignoring them.
Yes, all the things. And so yeah, I just kind of was like, yeah, I think I'm done here. But fear keeps us stuck.
Yeah.
And I was a 53-year-old broad and I'd been, skin in the game for 30 years and I require a certain salary because that's what
Yeah.
I'm living at, right? And I want to be paid for my training experience education. But I'm also a 53-year-old broad, and they can hire somebody that's 25, and requires half the pay I do, and doesn't mind working 60-hour weeks, and I'm not doing all that. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, God bless Snohomish County because I it was the first. I think I applied for two agencies up here. I did. I applied also for Pierce County, I think, in
Okay.
Tacoma.
Yep.
But I didn't really want to be south of Seattle. I wanted to be north of Seattle.
Right.
So as you know, like Mount Vernon, Bellingham, everything up here is just
Is
beautiful.
amazing.
The Canadian border is like just right over
Yes.
there. I love Canada.
Yeah.
So I just love it up here. And So I went in for the interview, and it was just, three women in a boardroom, and it was just a pretty casual conversation. And um, two were really enthusiastic, and one had a real good poker face, like Lady Gaga poker face. I was like, I can't read this one at all. I think she hates me because I come in like this. And I even took this vitamin that was supposed to cool me the fuck down, and it did
It
not.
didn't
I
work.
was still like this. I was still like, and I was like, oh gosh, she hates me. I'm too much. And when I was in the dating world and I was too much, I was like, find less. Go find less than, you don't like all this, go find less. It's out there. They're a dime a dozen. Get out of here, boy. Anyway, so I left. This was on Friday, just before Veterans Day. So they're like, oh, we'll contact you sometime next week. So Tuesday morning, like Monday was Veterans Day, we were all off. Tuesday morning, they called me and I had to run out of my building because I wasn't telling people what I was doing. I was like, gosh, if I fail at this, I look like a loser and I'm stuck here anyway. And like,
Right.
I'm not telling anybody. So I get the call, and I get the call from the one with the poker face. And she's like, hey, we really love you. You need to be here. And I was like, what?
From
Okay.
her?
Yeah, from her. And she's like, we can start you at step four. They have 5 steps. And she's like, I can start you at step five, but it has to go through HR. And I said, well, please ask for that, but I'll come in
Yeah.
at step four. But she did. She asked for it and she got it.
Nice.
And I said, well, I have a whole house and a whole life here, and it's going to take me a minute. And she said, well, how's January 2nd? And I said, oh my God, yes, I'll be there. And then I was like,
Wow.
where am I going? She was like, Arlington. And I was like, sure. It sounds lovely. It sounds lovely.
So you've been there, you started how long ago? I mean,
A
it's
year.
been,
Yeah.
wow.
I started January 2nd, 2025. I
That's
moved up here like
amazing.
2 weeks before that. Yeah, the boyfriend was so, I mean, he wants to be up here too. And so he's like, yeah, let's go. Let's try
Okay,
it.
so boyfriend, now fiance, you
Hmm.
knew him, you met him down here, obviously, before
I
you got
did.
this job. Okay,
Yeah, we met on OK Cupid.
nice.
He swiped, and I was like, what? I'm an old broad, right? Because he's 9 years
Jesus.
younger. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because
Stacey, you fucking rock. That's why he
uh,
swiped. Knock it
well,
off.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty
The
sure.
the whole I can't there that's a whole nother podcast.
Yes, and we'll do it.
Holy shit. And I met the husband in college, and he, like, I dated a couple little boys like in high school, like more like Civil Air Patrol, actually, not even in high school. I had a blind date for prom. Like I had no game. I was super shy. My boss set me up with her friend's son. He took me to prom, total gentleman, never talked to him again, but he was beautiful eye candy. And like all the popular girls were like, what? Anyway, so after divorce, I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know, what do I do? And friends were like, well, you got to go on the dating apps. And I was like, oh my God, gross. What?
Yes.
And then at the time, I was moonlighting at the Coliseum, like during Blazer games. I was
Oh,
working there at night. I
or
was
the
a
Moda
PO,
Center.
the Moda Center. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Gwen. So at the Moda Center,
And
and
thank you. Thank
I
you
was
for keep giving Gwen shout outs. She's gonna love
Gwen,
that.
you're our girl. So I would moonlight, and that would pay for Gabby's sports. So I was a
Okay.
PO during the day. I would work like 3 or 4 nights a week at Moda during Blazer seasons, slinging hot dogs and beers. And people would say, "Oh, like, what is this beer?" I was like, I don't drink. It's gross. It's gross beer. I don't know. It's smelly beer. It's stale beer. I pick. It's $20 a cup. So like,
You're right. So it probably doesn't matter.
it's disgusting. It's disgusting tasting. It's disgusting that they charge that much.
Oh my God. Yes, it is.
Yeah. And so why did I bring up Moda Center?
Well, I was asking about how you met
Oh, I met Jer Bear. And
yes.
so I was doing all the things, and friends and those women that I was working concessions with, a lot of them were dating and told nightmare stories.
Yeah.
And I was terrified because they were like, "Oh, I got stood up." Or he saw me and walked out because I didn't fit like what he looked like. So I was making notes though, like, okay, Stacey, you got to post current pictures,
Yep.
right? You got to be honest about your age, and like, like, you still got a kid at home, because Gunnar was gone. I waited several months before I jumped into this, because I needed to. heal. I needed to take care of my babies, get my shit straight, all the things. I bought a house and did that. Those things were priority over boys.
Right.
Um, but that came and oh my gosh, like even the youngsters, and it was kind of fun. Initially, I just ignored them, but then you just kind of have to have fun. And I'm like, okay, you're 25, I'm 45. Tell me about your relationship with your mom. And I actually met up with one once. I want to say he was 29, though. Gabby's gonna love this because she hates this story. Um, so I think I was 45 or 46 and he was 29 and he was like, oh, let's meet up in Portland or whatever. And I was like, yeah, what you got in mind? He's like, how about an arcade? And I was like, perfect. Perfect. Like you need someone to buy you a beer or like get you in or like what are we doing? And what I liked about him and his profile, and it was Tinder, and I learned more about Tinder, like I get it.
Right.
But here's what this young guy did on his profile that set him apart from everybody else. Every picture was porn for women. He was washing dishes, he was scrubbing a toilet, he was
Oh my,
vacuuming. Like
brilliant.
this kid was genius. I was like, I will meet you, sir. I
Oh
will
my God,
meet
that's
you.
fucking
So we met
amazing.
at an arcade and we played video games and ate pizza, probably, and drank Cokes or something. I don't know, whatever young people do. And we had great conversations. And it turned out his relationship with his mother was horrible.
Oh,
So, I'm
okay.
sure he was looking for a mommy.
A
And
surrogate,
I was a
yeah.
mommy maybe for an hour or so. Like we made out. It was fun. Um, but we never talked to, well, I think he might have wanted to hang out again. And I was like, oh no, this was like a one and done. Like I can't. Right? Like I can't.
I just wanted to play arcade games and make out with a 29-year-old just once
Yes. Because again, I
before I get
didn't do
serious.
this. Like I was a virgin when I married. You know what I
Yep,
mean? Like
yep, yep.
this was not my life. And so at
Yes.
45, just like flung into this.
Yes.
And I always had those friends like, oh my gosh, I have the perfect person for you. I'm gonna set you up. I'm gonna set you up. It never happened. Not one setup ever. So cool, cool, cool. Thanks, sis. Um, and so the dating apps it was. And I will tell you, honestly, I met a lot of really lovely men, a lot of men that were in my stage of life, right? Empty nesters or about to be, divorced, maybe even separated. I kind of stayed clear of those. I'm like, hey, we can chit chat for a while, but you need to do your work.
Yeah.
I'm not here for that. I'm not a rebound person. I'm not
Right.
and yeah. So, and I always tried to leave people better than what I found them. I wasn't a ghoster. If it didn't work, if it wasn't a click, I said so. And there were a couple people like before I met Jerry that I stayed friends with. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't a match, but two in particular, one rode motorcycles. And so we had a lot of fun just going on rides, but we weren't a match because he always talked about his ex-girlfriend. And I was
Yeah.
like, hey, you're still in love with her, right? And he's like, what? And I was like, yeah, you should go be with her. And he was like, well, she's in another state. And I was like, there's planes, there's a
Yeah.
car, you got a
Yeah.
motorcycle. That'd be a fun ride, actually. So, and he did.
Oh,
Because we're friends on Facebook. And so he did. And I
that's
was like,
awesome.
and he actually gave me some motorcycle parts. So, hey, like
Nice.
before he moved, right? He was cleaning out his garage and he's like, hey, you want some motorcycle parts? I was like, fuck yeah, I do. And another guy was really fun because his kids were young and I wasn't ready to raise kids again. I was like,
Yeah.
boy, I didn't even want a goldfish. I was like,
Right.
sorry, sir. No. And in one situation, I actually liked the kids more than the dudes. That was in two situations. I was like, can I just keep your kid?
Yeah.
That'd be cool. But yeah, so when Jerry hit me up, um, Jerry's an old soul, which is really great about him. Yeah, he's 9 years younger, but he's an old soul, and he also is the leader I've always looked for in a man. Like there's a huge difference, but a fine line between control and leadership.
Yes.
And young guys, I don't know that they always get that, or that maybe they're taught that by a mom or dad or a caretaker. Jerry has wonderful parents, like salt of the earth humans, both of them. Like heaven sent parents. And so he's just a really good man. And I never thought someone younger could lead me and I could trust him and give up control for him to lead me. But I do. But I still have my independence. Like he doesn't take that. He doesn't take.
Right.
Yeah.
And
And
he's not threatened by you being who you want to be.
no,
That's
not
the
at
difference.
all. Like he
Nothing
brags
about
about it.
Yeah, nothing about you being you threatens him.
Right.
That's a sign of maturity. Yeah, obviously.
Yes. And security, right? Like he's a
Yes.
secure man within himself. Like he knows who he is and what he's about. So, okay, so my girl rides motorcycles, whatever. And people give him shit or like, oh, you ride bitch or like you don't ride bikes. And he's like, oh, I made a promise to my parents that I wouldn't take those kind of risks because his parents are his best friends. And I said, oh, I don't like my parents. So we're good.
We're
I
good.
ride.
Yep.
I ride.
Yep.
So I didn't make that promise. and and my kids ride, right? So it's like, I don't know. That was one thing in California, a great takeaway. We rode dirt bikes all over that state. There's so much dirt in California that it's prime for dirt bike riding. And
Yes.
so I got into that in my 30s. The kids grew up on motorcycles. When they got behind the wheel of a car, they're both excellent drivers. Um, Pass all their tests the first go because they rode dirt bikes for years. So they knew to look out for people and they
Yeah.
knew rules of the dirt and the road. And anyway, so Jerry called me the next morning and like maybe I was getting ready for work or something and he was on his way to work. And I was like, oh, hey. I mean, we texted the night before. So he swiped and texted me. And then the next morning he called me. And like people don't call each other anymore, right?
Right.
And especially like a 42-year-old guy, I was like, is this a butt dial? And he's like, no, I thought we could talk on my drive to work. And I was like, oh, okay.
Actually have a conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. Weirdo. What? Because usually we're like, state your emergency. Like, or you text, right? Like, why are you
Yes.
calling me? What do you need?
Yeah.
Like awful. And, but again, old soul and just old fashioned even. And it was February of 23 and we were having a really bad storm. And so the roads were, it was snow covered,
Hmm.
ice packed.
Yep.
And he was in Portland, I was in Scappoose. And so we just talked for 3 or 4 days on the phone. And, a lot of people don't want to connect, like talk on the phone, video chat, or meet up ever. Some people, like
Yeah.
some dudes, I'm like, did you just want a pen pal? What are we doing here? Like,
Yeah.
are we ever going to meet?
Why'd you put a profile up if you don't want to
Right.
actually meet somebody in real
Right.
life?
And
Yeah.
looking for a relationship, but
Yeah.
never meeting. I don't,
Yeah.
whatever. But we wanted to meet right away and we did. And he's like, hey, pack a bag for the weekend and just in case you're snowed in or if we hit it off or whatever. And so I drove to him in Portland and we just walked neighborhoods and he took me out to lunch and it was just instant. I was like, I don't know what's happening right now. And I feel like he was kind of the same. And then I did hang out with him all weekend and we drove to Astoria and he showed me place. Gabby lived in Astoria for over a year and he showed me a couple spots I'd never seen before. And this boy's from California. Like, what? Get out of here, boy. But he's cut out for adventure like us. And so he drives on the weekends and he explores and he talks to people and he knows all these little nooks and crannies of our Pacific Northwest. And so in Canada, actually, he's really traveled. And so I mean, outside of this area too, but yeah. And so um maybe that night or the next day or something, he's like, hey, should we go off this dating app? And I was like, yeah, I think so. But I didn't
That's
know
the
how.
test.
I
Yes.
didn't know how. I was like, I don't know how to, because like maybe you just take it off your phone, but like you're still on it.
Yeah, you have to, and it's been years, but you have to remove your profile
Right.
or hide
So
it. Right.
right. And I did not know how to do that. So I just handed him my phone. And I've always been that person. I have an open phone.
Yeah.
Like, here's my password here.
Yeah.
Like, I've never looked at a man's phone before. That's not for me. Not even my kids' phones, I don't think. That's your privacy. I just
Yeah.
don't. Anywho, so he just did what he did and I was off the app and that's that. And yeah, and here we are 3 years later and it's working out.
So he was able to move up there and with his job, or is he
No,
still in the
not
Portland
yet.
area?
initially, so when I got this job, he was working from home. And so he
Okay.
thought, okay, I'll just work from home up there. And then they got called back. They got called back in like
Oh,
2 weeks after I started, maybe. Like he knew he couldn't move just yet because he
right.
didn't have the like green light to go yet. And I still had my house. I didn't sell my house until like 3 or 4 months later. And so he had to go back full time in the office, 40 hours a week in Hillsboro.
Okay.
And and he just hasn't found anything here. And then his dad took ill a few months ago, so he has been in SoCal. He's just got back. He was there for like 3 months with his dad and helping
Yeah.
caretake him. And so it just hasn't happened yet. But I think, I don't know, it's an interesting time because I think we both value our time. But then when we get together on the weekends, it's like, okay, where are we driving? Like, I have a whole plan where we're driving this weekend, like all the places. Like, we're going to Port Gamble and we're going to see the trolls because we've seen the trolls on the mainland, but we haven't seen the trolls on the island. So do you know about these trolls?
This sounds vaguely familiar, but no, tell
Yeah.
me.
They're these huge, huge wood carvings, like as big as a building. And
Port
there's six of
Gamble?
well, there's not one in Port Gamble. There's one south of there on Bainbridge Island and on
Uh,
Vashon.
got it. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So we haven't seen those two yet. And then we saw the ones in Seattle. There's two in Seattle, West Seattle and Ballard.
Yep.
There's one in Issaquah and there's one in Portland.
Oh, that is so
In
cool.
Southwest Portland, I think, that I have not seen yet.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, I think we're doing a drive this weekend. And I actually got into these drives with Mini Cooper weirdos. I was living in Scappoose. I had a Mini Cooper during the pandemic and I bought her used and I just love her. And like 50 minis went by me on I-30 or
Yep.
Highway 30. And I was like, what is happening? And I was going to get a tattoo. Otherwise, I would have just flipped a bitch and followed them, right? I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going wherever they're going. I'm going. They were going to Astoria, as it turned out.
Okay.
So I should have because I love Astoria. And right, Gwen? Astoria. Love it. Um, Goonies forever.
Yes, yes.
But I didn't. But I found them on Facebook and I went to their very next drive. It was like Beaverton to the coast. But
Oh,
like
probably like Seaside or something.
it was north of there. It wasn't Tillamook.
Gerhard is
Mm-mm.
north.
Maybe. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe it was there.
yeah,
And but we took all these back roads.
yeah.
And you know they exist, but it's like we're always in a hurry. So
Right.
it's like we'll take the freeway, we'll take the highway, we'll da 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 da, and we don't take these back roads. And especially in a Mini Cooper, and especially with people that don't give a shit about speed limits, like we just and
Yeah.
I have an S, so it has the sport mode, so it tightens up that suspension when I click it in sport
You
mode.
have a uh
Sunroof?
sunroof, so you can
Yeah,
open it up.
yeah.
Nice.
Oh, I no, I just have the sunroof. It's not a convertible. No.
But that's what I mean. But you can open it up.
Yeah,
Just the yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
just the top. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's just fascinating what a car and a motorcycle, what worlds it opens up for you. Like I
Yeah.
belong to these girl gangs now. And I've ridden with men too. Like it's cool or go on rides with them. But like bonding with women in this way, doing something that's just kind of out of the norm still. I shouldn't be, but it is. I just love it. And these Mini Cooper weirdos, like we go on these fun drives in Oregon and Washington at places I've never seen before. And they do all the planning. Like you just show up with a radio and a full tank of gas. And they just lead the way. They know the pit stops. They know where we're stopping for lunch. And then at the end of the drive, everybody just goes their own way, right? So it's just brought me this community that's just like, this is so great. And it's a car, right? It's a motorcycle, like whatever. But it's
Yeah,
so
but
much more than
it's something that you can bond with other people over. But it's more
yeah,
about the experience,
it
obviously.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it could be in any vehicle, obviously, but it is really funny when we drive through. So the Bridges tour, like south of Canby. So like Cottage Grove, there's a few. So
Yeah.
there's these old covered bridges, and some
Yep.
of them are retired, so you can't drive over them anymore. And some, so you just drive next to them.
Right.
And then some you can still drive over. So that's one that the Portland Mini Club, the Rose City Minis, they do that one every year, the covered bridges tour. And I would have never known that because again, it's like parallel with I-5 and it's like, well, why go that way when you can just be on I-5, right? That's just what we all do.
It's the most expedient way, but it's not the best way to go
It's
through the
not,
valley. Yeah.
right? It is
Yes.
not. Yeah, and
Oh
so
my
that's what they've
God.
taught me, you know. Yeah, go the back way.
Holy shit. All right. We are almost at 2 hours.
I know.
I'm
What?
gonna let you go. It felt
Yeah.
like it's been 15 minutes. We
No.
need to do this again. Holy shit, Stacey.
It would
I
be
wasn't
great.
kidding when I said it felt like no time had passed, but I will say this on record. We're still recording. Hun, you seem super happy, and that makes my heart
Thank
happy.
you. Thank
I love that
you.
you're in such a good place. I did, she probably told you, but I did friend Gabby and message her. I said, your mom's gonna be on my podcast, and
You told me.
I'm gonna share it, and I'm gonna tag them so your kids can see
Yeah.
this.
Good.
Um,
Thank you.
Holy shit, yeah. I will hit stop, but again, this has been amazing, and we should do it again. And also, so my girlfriend's daughter and her boyfriend, they live in Bellingham. They both went to Western Washington. They're out of college now. They both have careers, but they're still in the Bellingham area. I didn't. Now that I know where you live, the next time we go
Yeah.
visit them, we are gonna connect.
Yes, let me know. That'd be so
That
fun.
would be amazing. I would love to see you again in person.
Same. I'd love to meet your girl.
Because I have always, going back to then, you have always been friggin' awesome. I remember
Thank
just I
you.
have nothing but good things, whether it was from our RA classes or when you were with the ex-husband and we hung out a lot. I always just thought you were a gosh damn sweetheart.
Thank you.
So,
I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me. I've always really respected you, Ken.
and I love the Stacy that you have become now. So, and again,
Thank
you seem very happy.
you. I
So,
am. Life is so good, better than ever.
I am gonna hit stop recording and then we can say our private goodbyes.
Okay.
All right.